We think about ourselves as healing. You know, we would hate ourselves because of our orientation, identity, maybe where we've come from, our class, our status. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't be this. Then we might start to accept ourselves. And then we might find some blessing, thanks be to God, and some points of celebration. Pride. That's fabulous internally, but what are we doing that externally? So MCC always blesses and celebrates everyone from day one. You don't walk in and we think about it and say, oh, did we have that meeting yet? Right? Because we are doing liberation in MCC. We're doing liberation, and we need to remember that. We bless and celebrate every time. Every time. We've always been the space for that. We can do it better in some areas. I'm going to, family meeting. We can do it better in some areas. But people ask me, why are we different from open and affirming churches? Because we didn't need a committee to figure it out.
Yes.
Now, God bless them for having a committee and figuring it out. Right? Because that has to change. We need more spaces that are open. But because we bless and celebrate, queer folks can walk right in. We don't need a committee as to if you're queer enough. Right? Or do you fit our definition of queer? Now, I know I have upset some apple carts coming out as polyamorous. And I'm sorry if that upset anyone, but I'm the most vanilla poly person you'll ever meet. I'm in a closed triad, for God's sake. I mean, this is as non-threatening as the world can be, but it's threatening to many people because of that class issue we're struggling with. We want to be good people. We want to be seen as good people. I'm not trying to upset anybody. We have to name ourselves. We have to name ourselves. Because I'm telling you, there are a lot of straight polyamorous people that can't go to church. And they have nowhere to go. There are people who have all sorts of arrangements in their lives for all sorts of reasons. That's none of our business. That are looking for a place to be spiritually engaged. And we don't need to know the details of how they got there, their gender identity, where they sleep, who they sleep. We don't need to know that. What we need to know is, do you want to be in relationship with God? Do you want to liberate human beings? Do you want to be part of that God is calling us to be? Because that's what Peter was trying to do, kind of, sort of, and blew it a few times. Let us not have to fall asleep in order to get a vision and to be told, get up. Because some of us have been in a little winter, so thank you, mentioned the seasons thing. We kind of been in winter, we've been sleeping. I'll never forget, in Illinois, after marriage equality happened, I'm on all these activist groups, and we have these faith leader meetings, and well, what are we going to do now? We have marriage equality. You know what? 80% of the people dropped off the calls. They were done. For me and mine. I came in for it. I got it, going home. I'm sorry, there's a lot more letters in the umbrella. If we're or the alphabet soup, or whatever you want to call it, we got a lot more people in that pride flag than just G&L marriage. It's true, we're dealing with lives. People are literally dying. And I don't mean just queer people or even alphabet soup. They're dying because of their bodies. Tony Freeman's talked about this. Now, Tony Freeman is on staff. He's a very tall white man. He lives in Tucson. He got pulled over and asked to see proof of citizenship in Arizona. He's not even dark-skinned. He said, I've lived in this area for years. I've never been asked for proof of citizenship. This is about bodies, folks. This is real. And I think our call to be church and movement is far greater than letters and names and acronyms. Doesn't solve everything, right? But I think right now in a transitional time, we have to ask, who's not here? Who's not at the table? So I did this with emerging church folks. Like, you're in a creative core team. You got first thing you ask your community is, who's not at the table? And you have to ask why, and you got to go find them. Because they're not going to come running to you. Because if they wanted to be in church, honey, they'd already be in church. And they'd be in any number of churches. But there are a large number of people that are not in church. And we have to speak the language. You know, Randy speaks evangelical, thanks be to God. Some of us speak Anglo-Catholic, hallelujah. You know, some of us speak, I'm being serious, some of us speak white Protestant theology. You need to, we still need it, don't get me wrong. But we all have to do it with that lens of liberation that MCC gives us.